Hi, this is Jay from Skylapser.com, and in this video I'm just going to give you a quick overview of my All-Sky time-lapse mirrorless camera setup. Okay, so it's a little bit of a smoky sunset here in northern New Mexico, and I just want to kind of go over my mirrorless all-sky camera setup here. So first of all, this is a Lumix GH3 mirrorless camera, and I've got that mounted on a mini ball tripod head here, and I've got that aimed straight up at the sky. Also, we have a Liawa, I guess is how you pronounce it, 4mm fisheye lens here, and this is an F2.8 lens here with a 210 degree fisheye view, so that gets us all sky imagery here. And so I'll come around here, and you can see that I've set that focus at just short of infinity, and I have the aperture set at f2.8, and then I've used a piece of tape here to kind of lock that setting in so that that doesn't drift, and so I know that I have good focus and my good iris there for that situation. Just want to kind of, instead of a tripod, I kind of use a lighting stand here, which is a tripod lighting stand that you can get on eBay, and then with a mini ball head mounted on the top of that. I also have a leg weight, exercise leg weights here, a 10-pound leg weight that I use to anchor the lighting stand or tripod for the all-sky camera. And that does a pretty good job, and of course we have very high winds out here sometimes, and so that stabilizes it quite well. Okay, we have our SD card in here. In this case, it's actually a 64 gig SD card. And then I'll go over my settings here really quickly here. You can see here that it's kind of struggling with figuring out the level here. And then, okay, and then I'm in the menu here. And of course, we're not going to use digital zoom. And so we're not going to use teleconverter. And main thing is I'm going to do a time-lapse shot here. But I also want to come up here and look at, I'm using a 4:3 aspect ratio, only because the sensor on this particular camera is a 4:3 ratio sensor. And so I want to use the maximum pixels that I can. And then also I'm using JPEG compression rather than shooting RAW in this particular case, and that's just basically to conserve data. I've run into situations in the past where I've been shooting RAW and JPEG, and I'll fill up an SD card, and in most cases for my workflow in post-production is that RAW is just too much work in the volume that I do, so I'll just take the JPEG images, compress them at the end of the night, and turn them into a time-lapse movie. If I were doing more precise data acquisition, I might go to a RAW setting, but in this case I'm just using the highest quality JPEG, the compression that I can use with the camera. Okay, I'm going to go back down to the menu here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set up my time-lapse shot. And you can see my start time is now whenever I press the shutter button. And I'm going to change my interval here. Actually, my shooting interval is correct here. It's 30 seconds. And I'm going to do an image count of 2,500, which will be more than enough to capture the night sky tonight. And so I can go down here, just double checking those settings. And I'll go ahead and hit start, and it will say press shutter to start. But then before I do that, I want to go ahead and check my actual exposure settings. And so I have my mode wheel set to manual here. And you can see that I've got that set at whatever the iris is on the fisheye lens, and it's at 15 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and increase that to be 25 seconds. So that will allow me to capture 25-second exposure, and that will give it 5 seconds to write to the SD card, and then it will take another exposure. So we're basically getting 2 exposures per minute, and they're actually 25-second exposures. And I found that value to be the best that I can use for this setup. One of the things I also do is I'll put the lens cap on here, and I can actually put my phone onto the lens cap here, and then I use a program called Teleset, or an application called Teleset, to orient the camera so that it's facing south here, and or north-south. It has a north-south axis, and it also does the level, and so now I have my camera both level and oriented toward north and south. So that will give me an image with the north horizon on the top of the frame whenever I do the actual time-lapse video. So then I'll go ahead and remove the lens cap here. And then the next thing that I have to do is, I'm going to go over my power situation here. So what I've got running here is a power bank, which is a it's a basically a 150 watt power bank from a company called NextPow, and this has the actually the inverter built into it so that it does output AC, and it has USB 2, USB-C outputs. It has 12-volt input. I can charge this from a 40-watt solar panel that I have when I'm working remotely, or I can just charge this up in my house if I need to. And so this is actually hooked up to the AC adapter for the GH3 camera. And I've found this to be just the simplest setup that I can use. Of course, I could have used a DC converter to get it to the 8.5 volts that this Lumix camera requires from either the 12-volt output or from a 5-volt output. But just the AC just works just fine. And that gives me enough power to get through the evening. And this actually works very well in a kind of a remote situation if I'm out in the backcountry. In this particular case, I'm actually at my home observatory here, and here in beautiful northern New Mexico. And so that's how I'm powering the camera. So the only thing that we've kind of got left to do is wait for the sun to go down, and then we'll go ahead, and we've got nice clear skies here tonight, and it is approaching a new moon, and so we'll be able to capture a good all sky night time lapse. Okay, it's about 9 p.m. and June 8th, 2021. And we're going to go ahead and start our all-sky time-lapse here. This is Jay from Skylapser.com. If you want to like this video, go ahead and click on the like button down there. And of course, you can subscribe to this channel. Really appreciate it.